Writing in a 6th Grade Reading Classroom by Annabelle Wilson, Saucopie Valley Elementary School, Hiram, Maine. Welcome to our 6th grade reading classroom. I'm a middle school teacher at Saucopie Valley Middle School, and through the Journeys Literacy program, I teach our 6th grade students reading and spelling. My co-teacher, Mrs. Bryant, teaches our students writing and grammar. Our Journeys Literacy program follows a 5-day instructional pattern. Within the program, all literacy elements are interconnected. In our reading classroom, we will focus on a mentor text that will act as a springboard for the weekly writing activities, focus vocabulary words, and grammar lesson. In my reading classroom, writing is still an essential component of my teaching instruction. In my classroom, I will work with students on short, written text responses stemming from a reading of the weekly focus text. The 3 articles that I have selected focus on strategies connecting to these writing responses. Before beginning my research, I thought about some of the writing tasks that my students undertake in a 6th grade reading classroom. One area that I have noticed that my students struggle with is their analytic, text-based writing skills. Each week, I assign 2 short writing responses based on the focus text we have read in class. I have selected the following 3 articles to help support this component of writing in my classroom. Teaching for writing expository responses to narrative texts. I found this journal article by Sunday Cummings and Ruth E. Cora very interesting, as I felt that I could make many connections to my own teaching observations. Cummins and Cora provide an example of a mid-year narrative text response assessment that was given to third grade students in an English classroom. The journal article provided multiple student examples that demonstrated a sound comprehension of the story. However, students struggled to demonstrate their understanding of the text structure. When reflecting upon my own classroom observations, I felt that this was a very similar experience of what I see students constructing in my 6th grade reading classroom. After outlining this challenge faced by my students when responding to a narrative text, Cummins and Cora then went on to discuss strategies teachers could implement to support the development of students' written text responses. These strategies for understanding text structure are frontloading with photographs, think aloud about writing samples, scaffolding to encourage deeper level thinking. I choose to focus on 2 of these strategies when thinking about how I could implement them in my own classroom. How can I apply this information to my classroom? Front-loading with photographs. I think my 6th grade students would benefit from a greater period of time dedicated to activating prior knowledge and discussing predictions related to the weekly focus text. Each week, on day 1, students will examine a new essential question. This essential question directly relates to the text that we are reading this week. Prior knowledge could be activated by examining relevant pictures within the text or relevant images supplied by the teacher. Thinking aloud about writing samples. I have recently been implementing teacher think-alouds into our class discussion time to help guide students in their understanding of how to respond to narrative and informational text. During these class discussions, my goal is to make students think critically and to share their thoughts and ideas in a safe learning environment. Combining multiple measures of students' opportunities to develop analytic, text-based writing skills. In this article, authors Coranty, Matsuyama, Hamilton, and Wang examine the opportunities that students had in their reading classroom to develop their text-based writing skills. One reason that I selected this article was because of the difficulty that many students display in conveying their understanding of a text through writing. I agree with an included comment by my Calkins, Ellenworth, and Lehman regarding the importance of teaching these text-based writing skills. If our Common Core writing assessments are assessing students' reading comprehension through writing, then I think it is imperative that we equip our students with the necessary skills to tackle such assessments. While the idea of opportunity is quite broad, the authors decided to focus on specific instruction and practice time that was given to students on the writing process. Specific instruction might have been in the form of step-by-step strategies for planning, drafting, and revising work. Authors noted that specific awareness of these skills led to significant increases in the quality of student written responses. The research report conducted by Corelli, Matsurama, Hamilton, and Wang concluded that the quality of students' written text responses positively connected to the quality of writing specific teaching instruction and opportunities for guided practice that they were provided with in the classroom. How can I apply this information to my own classroom? After reading this report, I've thought more significantly about my text-based writing instruction in my 6th grade reading classroom. I recognise that one area that I can improve upon is providing my students with more opportunities for guided practice. While we spend time practicing responding to the extended response questions on a weekly basis, I believe that I could spend more time specifically addressing different components of student-written responses. Rather than just providing my students with repetitive practice in short written responses, I think my teaching instruction would benefit from targeted instruction. Specifically, I think that my students would benefit from specific assistance in understanding how to support conclusions, generalizations, or arguments they make in their writing by including text evidence. According to supporting research included by Matsurama, Gardner, and Pascal in Wales, students benefit from opportunities that guide them to generate elaborated written responses. Graham, MacArthur, and Fitzgerald also support this idea by stating this is important to give students just enough support so that they can ultimately attempt as much of the task as they can independently. Middle school writing in a cloud-based writing environment. In this research report, authors Zeng, Lawrence, Worcester, and Lin examined the effectiveness of utilizing Google Docs to write and exchange student feedback. The study took place in the 6th grade writing classroom. One of the reasons that I have selected this article is because I utilize an online format of reviewing and providing students with feedback on their written text responses. One thing that I've noticed over the years is that the skills required for students when writing on a computer are often different compared with the skills required by students crafting handwritten responses. The report found that overall students had a positive attitude towards utilizing Google Docs for editing and for the receipt of feedback. How can I apply this information to my own classroom? After analysing the results from this report, one of the things that I take away is that utilizing an online format of text-based writing responses does not necessarily improve students' writing quality. One benefit of writing in a cloud-based setting is that it does allow students to collaborate with one another and provide student-to-student feedback. While the Online Journeys program that my students utilize for composing their written responses does not allow for this feedback, I think it could be interesting to provide my students with the opportunity to practice their written text responses in a cloud-based format. I think that by allowing students to practice their written text responses on Google Docs, it would allow them the opportunity to not only have peer-to-peer feedback, but also the practice of typing their responses. When thinking of some of the students in my own classroom, I know that quite a few find the process of typing challenging. I do think that assisting students with the typing process is something that I could do as a teacher to help them become more effective writers. I think that providing my students with additional practice via Google Docs would be an effective strategy to help assist them with their typing skills.